Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another Monday Conversations with the Masterful Raconteur. I am your host, Florida's own Barry S. McLeod. And I decided to put one of my bling bling jackets on tonight just because this is still a part of celebration mode. Um, in case you don't know, this past Saturday, we screened the new uproarious comedy movie, Shedaplaya, written, directed, and produced by yours truly. Man, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I had a marvelous time. I am full of satisfaction and appreciation. You know, um, I want to just share with you about it. And I'm always unscripted when I do this podcast. And so I don't, I just kind of just jump in and just go for it. I'm still pretty elated with what we accomplished. And I say we because it was not a solo job, man. This cast and Shedaplaya, pretty phenomenal cast for uh, some unknown talent to most people, outside of our area. You know, um, they really did the doggone thing, man. I had quite a challenge in editing this movie. I My original goal, and still actually was to have this movie at an hour and 45 minutes. It took quite a lot for me to get this movie to down to where I have it right now at an hour and 56 minutes. I'm actually going to painstakingly edit it some more and try to get it as close to an hour and 45 minutes as I possibly can. But the content was well received. Um, as the um, my role in this thing, especially as a writer, I um, I wrote so many so many areas in all the scenes for laughter, and I was just like wondering how well of a job I did. And I've learned something with all of my work. Um, Everything I've pretty much done, especially starting with my plays and stuff, um, I have I I write something that I want this to be funny in my mind, in my vibe. Oh, this is gonna be funny, and I write something. I'm like, I just want this part here to solidify the story in this way or that way. And so many times, what I thought would be really funny was not as funny. Even though it was funny, it wasn't as huge as I thought it would be. And then parts that I did not think would be funny or would not be huge in terms of funny, it was that. And so, as I conclude um, my contribution as a writer and a director, I have to be satisfied. The movie held everybody's attention from beginning to end, and people laughed quite a lot, and I'm very proud of that. I know everybody involved, the actors, the people who helped behind the scenes, were very we're all very, very grateful that we pulled it off. We did it. I never doubted it. I always knew that that we would pull it off. It's just you don't you can't say no until you put it out there for people to see. I was anticipating a small uh group of people to attend the premiere. I gave the actors free reign to invite who they wanted to invite, and of course, I invited. Uh, I was mainly inviting people who were associated with the movie in one way or another, especially like people who donated and our sponsors um, and producers. One of our producers is out of state, and I know if they were close by, they would be here. And but one of the producers was there, and our top sponsor, Allegra Printing, was there, and we had a ended up with an audience twice as many. I didn't do a count, but whereas I was really expecting maybe about 40, 45 people, maybe 50 people at the most, we ended up with, I don't know, 80, 85 people or so um, that showed up. And so we got some very, very positive feedback. People seem to genuinely enjoy the movie, and I'm very, very proud of that. I wanted to highlight a couple of people, as you can see on my thumbnail here. They're probably looking at this right now and totally surprised, like, what, Barry did that? But, you know, Clarice Kentwood, I met her. She's a stand up comedian, and her husband there, Josh, he's a stand up comedian. And more than they know, they're probably going to be are going to be very, very shocked, and um, I hope it's surprised with a smile when they hear what I'm saying. But sometimes there's people who stand out in my mind, and I don't uh, see or communicate with them that often. Now, Clarice was in um, the episodes of Shedaplaya that I did, and I had attended a couple of her stand up shows, comedy shows, and I appreciated her talent. And it's just something about her that would stick with me. And when we started working together, she was just so much like me. Always the first one there early, and she was always so prepared. She always was so prepared. There was never one shoot that Clarice did in the episodes and this movie. There was never one scene that she was in that she was not prepared. She knew her material, and she was like me. Sometimes when it was whoever else was in her scene, sometime when we had to do multiple takes, it was never because of her. Never. She was just always ready, you know. And I was always grateful about her for that. But she would tell me that her husband Josh would assist her with uh, practicing her lines and etc. Whatever their process is. So it's like they always say, behind every good man is a good woman, and I wholeheartedly feel that way. But this is just a marvelous example of how, in this particular case, it's the flip. Behind this good woman is a very, very good and solid man, her husband, and they seem to be they just that couple that are so individually talented. You know, I've seen some video footage of her husband Josh doing his stand-up comedy, and I could see how talented he is. And I was telling him the night of the show that I want to catch one of his whole shows. and he's also a businessman. And I don't know, but they can correct me later if I got this wrong. But they have a comedy tour that they call the Broken Toy. I think that's it, the Broken Toy comedy tour. And so I have a lot of respect for him on a different level, because people, when shows are produced, a lot of times the way it happens is people naturally, even the people involved in the show, they naturally be so hyped up about the show itself that they don't think a whole lot about how did this happen, who made this happen, and what they had to do in order to make it happen. And you know, it's like it's like somebody having a really really nice ride. Really nice vehicle. I mean, it looks good on the inside. It has all the modern features. And it's a very very admirable vehicle, and it's driving down the street, and then there's somebody in the passenger seat and maybe in the back seat, and they're profiling, and they're like enjoying being in this vehicle, and other people are looking at them and saying, wow, you all are in this you all are in this nice vehicle, da 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 da, and man, y'all got it going on. But who owns the vehicle? Who pull all the strings to have this vehicle, to have everything situated so somebody else could ride and shine, you know? And so that's where producers and a whole different talent and skill set comes in. And a lot of times the most unappreciated. So, Josh, I recognize you on different levels, and I just really, really admire and respect how you and Clarice do teamwork. And they did something that surprised me at the premiere. They took the time to go out and print out posters, not flyers, posters of the flyer of Shedaplaya, and they made sure that all the cast had one, and some of our guests were able to get some, and the only one that didn't get one, was me, because I was all over the place. But we signed each other's uh, poster and everything, and it was just really really special. And it's just nobody else thought of that. Like I thought about doing it, but with so much on my plate, I lost track on that. And then get there, and then here comes Clarice and Josh with a bag with posters in it, man. And that just was really, really special. That's really, really special. And I know all the actors really appreciate having that. And like I said, we all signed each other's poster and stuff, because we actually made history. We don't know how far this movie is going to go, but we certainly are going to give it our best shot. And if it does, if it reaches all the heights globally, as we are uh, striving to accomplish, then that makes these posters all the more valuable. So, Clarice and Josh, thank you so much for the posters. We all really, really appreciate it, and I especially appreciate it. That was a very, very nice, nice surprise. So, Shedaplaya is just a comedy movie, and I wrote it in such a way that each actor in it had more than one opportunity to make a name for themselves, to do a performance that would be memorable, to do a performance in the movie that would make people laugh and feel good. I do not apologize for people. We filmed some scenes in the church. We did a variety of things. We emulated some no good, shady, uh, so-called men of God. We made comedy out of all of this stuff, and it was actually hilarious. I played the role of a false prophet, and I did that little cameo scene in there, and for some people who love the Lord so much and so deep, oh, they doing it, making a mockery of this and that. I don't apologize for that because hey, we're doing comedy. We're doing comedy. If it's not your thing, it's just not your thing. You know, nobody goes to a buffet and eat every single thing in the buffet. I don't think. There's always something that somebody does not care for. If you don't care for it, just like in the buffet, you pass it by. Okay, but we are hoping that people who love comedy, uh, that we have given you something to really, really laugh about and enjoy, and we're very, very proud of the work that we have done. You know, and I um, I just really, really thank all of my cast for what they did, and they really did a marvelous job. They really did a marvelous job, and I tell Tony DeWeese all the time how much I appreciate her because I haven't had the help that a person in my position needs as far as a team, a staff, a technical staff. I started off with a couple of people and then they didn't work out. And fortunately, I'm built for this, so I'm able to go on and get it done anyway. But I still have areas where I'm a little inconsistent. And Tony was always there to help me with casting, to help me with the communications and sets and locations and et cetera, man. So just really, really grateful for Tony. I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna call out the names of all the cast because every time I do that, I slip and forget somebody. Our extras in the movie were just phenomenal, man. Some of them were some of them were laid back, and some of them were very, very uh, excited. I think everybody was excited, but you could see the excitement in some more than others, but you could always see the excitement in all of them. And they really, really have made a big difference um, in certain scenes that we did. So shout out to all the extras. Man, y'all did really, really good. And you really, really ignited the lead actors and stuff like that. And you made my job as a director uh, so much easier, to do. And, to have people that I had never worked with before come in and follow directions and whatever, I really, really appreciate that. I'm sorry that some scenes had to get cut, you know, as okay, that's my time. As with any movie that you see on television or on Netflix or in a movie theater, there's always a lot of good scenes that get cut. And unfortunately, I had to cut some stuff some of it broke my heart to cut. And where I'm at now to try to trim it down a little bit more, it breaks my heart even more to cut some of the stuff. But I'm gonna try to just trim some stuff just to try to get down about 8 minutes. If I can get down eight minutes, I will have done well with that. Uh, I got some good feedback from everybody, so I'm better prepared now to go back, tighten this up one more time before I release it on Thanksgiving Day. And so you can tell your friends, your circle, that on Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to release Shedaplaya. I know that's a special day when people are gathering and eating and socializing and having fun, but everybody celebrates differently. And some people like to watch movies. I know people who that's what they like to do after they eat and socialize and stuff. Some people like to sit down and watch a movie. And usually there's always somebody watching a movie while the eating is going on and stuff like that. So I offer Shedaplaya uh, as an option for you, especially if you like comedy. And you'll have to go to bbinging.com to watch it. BBING.com. bingin.com. Bbingin.com. That's BBINGN.com. And as soon as you get to the home page, you'll see where to click, and you'll see the process to watching it. And I really, really hope that you all will support this movie. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you, all of our GoFundMe supporters, all of our donors, whether you did it in GoFundMe, whether you gave me cash, whether you cash apped me. You know, I'm glad now I can show you the results of your money. Um, I assure you, I assure you, every penny that was donated has gone to this film, and we're still accepting donations because now we have to market and promote the film, and I've got to find more sources. I've already been doing research, but I've got to make some sound decisions now as to what sources I can entrust to really do uh, what they say they will do for the price that they charge to help us to advance this movie, and that is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. So I haven't been on this GoFundMe campaign very much lately, but y'all gonna see me jump back on it. But at the very least, you can go to Be Binging, and you can even subscribe at Be Binging. It only costs $2.99 to watch everything. 30 days, 24/7. You can't beat that, and you're helping small independent uh, talent, not just me, but the actors, all of us. You're supporting all of us when you do that. So thank you so very much for touching in with me this evening. Our private screening went very, very well. We're all still elated and excited and thankful. And I'm just grateful. I am so grateful. And once again, Cass, we did the doggone thing. And congratulations to each and every one of you. I'm going to touch out now. I come to you every Monday, somewhere around 7-ish, give or take an hour or two, with conversations from a masterful raconteur, featuring your host, yours truly, Florida's own Barry S. McLeod, truly the right kind of different. Y'all continue to be blessed.